Hi, my name's Joseph Geraghty and I'd like to talk about emotional freedom. It's a very interesting subject for me. I've been studying it for the last 30 odd years. But I was thinking this morning, how do you make it how do you explain it in a very easy way? And so I'd like to have a stab at that this morning and see if I can't shed some light on emotional freedom. So the very first thing I'd like to say is that your emotions are your best friend. They're not your enemy. But the way that we've been taught to use the mind like a sorting machine. So we start to classify thoughts as positive, negative, and neutral. And the other thing that we do, which causes great problems, is to assume that thoughts have an independent nature, quite separate from us. And quite frankly, that doesn't stand up to close scrutiny. So just how then do we get to know what emotional freedom is? Well, first of all, one of the things that we can do, which is extremely simple, is to stop thinking just for a moment. Let's just pause for a moment. What's left? Well, what's left is that you don't disappear. Maybe there's no thoughts, but that is actually an introduction, what we call a short moment, into the real nature of the mind. Pure consciousness, pure primordial consciousness. It just is. And it is 24/7, but that's not, that unfortunately is not how we experience it. I remember certainly when I was younger, I was very heavily involved in positive mental attitude, that you needed to think positively, you had to change your thoughts that were ugly, and I really spent a lot of time and indeed a lot of money following that particular path. I even listened to a talk that I enjoyed at the time by a man called Zig Ziglar. And Zig said, you know, if somebody tipped rubbish into your living room, you'd tell them to clear it up. But the point that he was making was that we seem to be more concerned about people emptying rubbish into our living room, but we allow rubbish to be put into our minds every day by the media. Now, there was some merit, in fact, what he was saying. But again, it's not about changing something. You're not flawed. Essentially, you're not flawed at all. But we think we are, and we've told ourselves that we are. For example, one of the first things I do when I meet a new client is to ask them, you know, are they perfect? And they always say, absolutely not. You know, and they say it with such conviction. And so what I begin to do is to unravel that. And I take them through a series of very simple questions, and when we look at the validity of this question, you know, of are you perfect? So how do you get there? Well, emotional freedom means, certainly it does mean that you have to become absolutely committed to finding out just who you are. You can't fake it. You've got to be prepared to do the work, but it's not that difficult. You've just got to be prepared to examine, not on creating new habits, but create a lifestyle where every now and again, a few moments through in the day, that you look at your thoughts that are disturbing you and you say, where am I right now? Now, you might be having some pretty ugly thoughts, some angry thoughts. Just let them be. Just simply let them be. Let them evaporate. They will evaporate quite naturally. And that's the beginning of an amazing adventure. Of course, there are some changes that we need to make about some of the mindsets that we have. And we give you the tools to actually learn new ways of thinking, to learn new ways of seeing through the lens of your mind. It's exciting. It really is exciting. You'll never look back. So what I'd like to do is invite you to come to a 4-week seminar, a course, in fact, which will be held at Cria Nua, and that's in Galway. Details can be found on their website, and indeed on our website, which is schoolofmastery.org. And this every Monday for 4 weeks, starting February the 6th. You'll find it quite amazing, and just how simple it is to really get to know yourself and get a taste of true emotional freedom. Now, if you've enjoyed this small chat, please put a little like at the bottom of the screen, and also share it with your friends. My goal for 2017 is very simple. I want people to feel good 24/7 in any circumstance, in any situation. That's my goal. Would you join me? Goodbye.